How many times have you heard it? Komoot has gone and sent me the wrong way again. I've done it myself. However, it's easily avoided if you know how Komoot works and a few tricks. This is the bit in a YouTube video where folks usually ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to ask you to perhaps take a look at one of the videos that I recommend at the end. It's another on my channel that I think you'll like. I mean, if you do want to subscribe along the way, hey, go ahead, fill your boots. Okay, so, Komoot, what is the problem?
Komoot does not hold any mapping information of its own, none at all. Neither does Strava, neither does Ride with GPS. The navigation you get out of any of these is only as good as the mapping data that goes in.
And all of that comes from one single source. It's called OpenStreetMap, and you can switch to it as part of Komoot or just go onto its own website, and it's free.
This is OpenStreetMap. It's like a Wikipedia for mapping because anyone can and should edit it. There's also a cycling version, OpenCycleMap, with almost all cycle routes clearly shown. So if you find something wrong, put it right. Then it will update Komoot and all the others. OSM is the base map for the country where you live. In the UK, it is updated far more regularly than Ordnance Survey. When you look at a track, you ought to be able to see exactly its surface type, so you'll know what tyres you need to ride it. Is it road, gravel, full MTB, or hiker bike?
Except OpenStreetMap is not always right. That granular level of detail is not always completed by the relevant local authority that provides and should maintain the map. They're all strapped for cash, so you can see why. That's why we should do it when we spot something wrong on our patch. Komoot is only wrong if this OpenStreetMap is wrong.
This video of mine shows how to correct those mapping mistakes. It is easy to get an OpenStreetMap login to help put things right.
Well, that's the first thing. The second is the surface that you want to ride on, and that's going to be different if you've got a skinny tired road bike to if you've got a gravel bike or a mountain bike. And if you are looking for a road ride, then I think Strava is probably better because its mapping algorithm incorporates its heat map. So you're going to be sent down roads that local riders prefer, and then obviously they'll know best. But for anything else, for gravel or for anything off-road really, I would prefer Komoot. But you really do have to know how to get the most out of it, and that's what we'll see now.
Here, Komoot lets you choose what type of ride you're planning. Road and mountain bike are fairly self-explanatory, at opposite ends of the cycling terrain scale. In the middle are touring, gravel and enduro, and it's with these Komoot gets a little confused and confusing.
That's because the definition of a touring bike or a gravel bike is vague. So here's what I do. I assume a touring route will take in some roads, but will aim for cycleways and cycle paths that could be quite rough, but not rough enough to be a mountain bike terrain. And I simply do not use the gravel option in most parts of the UK. It is too reliant on having accurate data about surface type to distinguish a gravel track from a mountain bike track. And if that is wrong or missing, and it is often wrong or missing, then the routing is no good. So I switch between touring and mountain bike.
When you're doing that, there's one more trick to make sure you stay on track. Switching between touring and mountain bike, if there's a big jump in the route, then you are almost certainly heading into really rough terrain, potentially hiker bike. Holding down the M key on the keyboard removes the track so you can see what's underneath. That looks like a tiny track rather than a road, but with all the hydroelectric plants going on here in Scotland, it could have been updated. So switch to satellite view and zoom in. If you don't have Komoot Premium to do this, head over to Google Satellite, or I find better, Bing's Satellite View. It seems clearer in the Scottish Highlands. This way you can see the terrain before you ride it, and if it's faint, you'll need an MTB or its hiker bike. Incidentally, Bing also lets you switch to Ordnance Survey mapping, which can be really helpful. You can screenshot this and print it out for a free map.
There is another trick if your touring route takes you down a road and you want to make sure you are not straying onto some major road by mistake.
For example, Komoot plotted this road ride into Inverness, but I'm not sure. I can click on a point and then this button opens up Google Street View. Yeah, the dual carriageway of the A9 might put me off. So I switched to OpenStreetMap to see if there are any cycleways or cycle path alternatives not too far away, or I could just use minor roads.
So you see, it's probably not Komoot's fault it sent you the wrong way. It does the best with the mapping data that we give it and the way that we choose to use it. Now you remember I said at the start, I'd like you to look at a video. Well, take a look at this one. It's a pretty good adventure video, but if you'd like to know more about how to use OpenStreetMap and edit it, then this is the one to take a look at. I'll see you next time. Bye.